Hey folks, Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very interesting and an important video because today we are going to talk about a fundamentally strong stock for the next decade, and the best part is that it's a fundamentally strong stock under rupees 100. But before we go on to stock specific data, first we need to understand what's happening at a global economy level right now. Overall, we are facing drought. We are facing inflation. We are facing a lot of geopolitical issues. The moment I'm saying we are facing, I'm not talking about India, I'm talking at a global level right now. This entire decade is definitely different as compared to other decades because we are facing a lot of different problems in this decade as well. We are seeing the problems of crashing currencies. We are seeing the problem of rising yields. We are seeing the problems of global bond sell-off, and we are also seeing the problem of global central banks in a dilemma of whether they have to control the inflation or whether they are ready to sacrifice the growth by curbing the inflation. All in all, I can see whatever scenario is going on right now, quantitative tightening is being seen at the highest possible level. But the big question is, what next? Do you think that the drought will stay forever? Do you think that this inflation versus growth, this problem will stay forever? Do you think that rising bond yield problem will stay forever? Answer is obviously no. At some point in time, all these problems will be solved, and at some point in time, governments will have to focus on the recovery path. Because the moment we are talking about curbing inflation, we are going to sacrifice the economy growth, and this might in turn lead to recession. Once government has to fight recession, they will have to do something which is known as quantitative easing. And once quantitative easing comes into play, there are two major areas, two major sectors which see a lot of limelight. The very first one being commodity space, and the second one, to be more specific, it will be metals space. So in today's video, we are going to focus more on the entire scenario of the metal space. So keep on watching the video till the end. Well, before we move on, let me tell you that if you want to learn more about the impact of various economic factors on the stock market, we have a separate course on our website www.rachanaranade.com, wherein you can learn about all these factors in a very systematic way. You can also use the coupon code and get some extra discount. Well, moving ahead with our discussion, now that we know that in the path to recovery, in the path to economic recovery, there are going to be commodities, in particularly metals, which are going to play a crucial role. Now, if I were to talk about a global hub for all these metals, which is the country that comes to your mind first? Correct, it has to be China. But then, if you read this news article, you will understand that China right now is saying that because of environmental concerns, we might not be in a position to produce a lot. Here you can very clearly see that the title itself says China wants to curb steel production, and here you can very clearly see that the Chinese steel maker, He Steel, they have said that they have no choice but to pay more attention to decrease production in line with the government policy. Now comes a very important point. The global manufacturer, the hub, China, is saying that we are now left with no choice but to curb the production of steel. Now we have to understand which country is now being looked at as a China plus one. Answer is obviously it is India. Now that we have come to India, now we have to understand which can be a major steel manufacturer which can lead the way in the path to recovery. I think you have guessed it right. We are going to talk about the stock in the immediate next section of the video. But before that, for those who are my pro investor members, I have already discussed about how specialty chemicals or the entire chemical sector got benefited in India because of a curb in production in China. If you have not watched this video, don't forget to watch this video to understand about the rally in the chemical sector in India. Well, now let's do a quick recap and then move on to the stock specific information. By now we said that yes, there are a lot of problems, but then we said that at some point in time the problems will be over. Then we said then at that point in time there will be a lot of quantitative easing. The two major areas, I said commodities, as a wider sector, but in specific we talked about metals. They are going to be the ones who ideally will lead the rally. The moment I talk about metals, which country can we think of? China. But then we said China themselves have said that because of environmental concerns, we are not going to go ahead with a lot of production. Then we talked about steel, and then we said steel, and now we are on to India, and the name of the company which we are going to discuss right now is Tata Steel. Now, if I were to talk about Tata Steel, just for your understanding, some key data point is that it's a 115-year-old organization, and as on date, so as on basically 2021, you can see it with the help of this chart as well, they have a capacity of 20 MTPA, that is 20 million tons per annum. That is the steel production capacity that they have. Now, please understand this, that in the last century, in the last 115 years, they have built a capacity of how much? 20 MTPA. But on the occasion of the birth anniversary of Jamshedji Tata, their chairman N. Chandrasekaran said that they are wanting to double up its production of Tata Steel in the coming decade. Now, for that, you can again come back to this chart and you can see that they are increasing their capacity in the flat section of steel and longs of steel by 10 MTPA, and that is where they are planning to take their capacity to 40 MTPA by 2030. Now, why do you think they are doing this? It's very logical. Now, no need for my explanation as well. Now that even Tatas understand that if China is not going to do a lot of production, they do have a big opportunity, and I think they are very well poised to tap on this opportunity and expand in this coming decade. Now, let's go ahead into a little bit more details of Tata Steel Limited. This company was founded in 1907 by the visionary person Mr. Jamshedji Tata. It was founded in Jamshedpur in Jharkhand, India, and today it operates into so many countries in the world. Currently, they have their presence across 5 different continents. Now, if I were to talk about their product, where do they source their raw material from? They source their raw material from their captive mines. In simple words, they have mines from where they source the raw material. Once the raw material is sourced, they'll convert into finished product, that is nothing but steel. Now, once the finished product is ready, which sectors do they supply the steel to? They supply steel to automotive sector, to construction sector, and to general engineering sector as well. Currently, Tata Steel is one of the largest steel producers with 2 operating steel manufacturing facilities, one based in UK with a capacity of 5 million ton per annum, and the second in mainland Europe, that is in Netherlands, with a capacity of 7 million tons per annum. Well, now that we have understood about the economy, now that we have understood about the business model of the company, now let's focus on the finances of the company. If you see that from 2012 till 2022, or even if I were to consider TTM, that is trailing 12 months, you can see that their sales have grown from 1,32,900 crores to 2,53,924 crores. What does that mean? In last 1 decade, they have hardly been able to double the top line, double the sales. Hardly that has happened. But if I talk about PAT figure, profit after tax, that is a net profit, has grown from 5,217 crores to latest figure of 39,695 crores. So, in simple words, their top line has hardly doubled, but their bottom line has grown by almost 8 times. Is that a big jump? Answer is obviously yes. Now, if I were to move on to the balance sheet of this company, you can see that their borrowings have also grown from 59,897 crore to almost 1,16,328 crore. That was the highest point seen somewhere around the pandemic. But during the pandemic and after that, they have tried to repay that loan to a great extent, and as at 31st March 22, their debt stands at 75,561 crores. If I were to talk about the operating cash flow activity, their operating cash flows are also at almost the highest level right now. You can see that their cash flows were pretty much stagnant at 12,000 crore, 14,000 crore, but from March 2020 to 21, you can see that it has almost doubled, and this still continues in 2022. That is where we can see the start of recovery in this specific sector. Now, the only point that we need to understand is that if the company were to increase the capacity of their company from 20 MTPA to 40 MTPA, will that include a heavy capex? Answer is obviously yes. Could that lead to an increase in debt levels? Answer is possibly yes, but they have very clearly mentioned that we are going to fund this majorly through our internal accruals only. Currently, the net debt to EBITDA for this company stands at around 1, and the company has mentioned that we are not going to take this above 2. So all in all, I hope you are able to understand how the financials are also very much in line with the company's thought process. One last point before I conclude this section is that I'm taking you back to the profit of this company, where you can see that if their profit currently stands at 40,000 crore rupees at only 20 MTPA, if their production is going to scale up to 40 MTPA, of course that's the production capacity, but if they are able to utilize that, you can imagine what levels of profitability can we see in the coming few years. And be aware of one point, that even if this stock is only 100 rupees stock, this is not a small cap stock, it's a blue chip stock. Well, if you have felt nice about hearing the growth story of Tata Steel, I also feel nice when you smash the like button and share this video with maximum of your friends. If you're loving this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well. And if you want to know more about why LIC is falling, you can click here. If you want to know more about should you invest in penny stocks, you can click here. Till then, take care, Jai Hind and bye-bye.